You are Locked On Rockets Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right. Sorry, everyone. Yes or no that you can hear me. For some reason, since I got a new camera, if you can't tell, the camera quality's been better. It keeps knocking my headset off, and now my headset doesn't want to work. If we're talking about the Rockets, I don't know what the deal is. I'm going to have to mess with that earlier. Yes, we're here. The Rockets won tonight. I'm frustrated because I just talked for like 5 minutes, and that happens sometimes. But thanks for sticking around. Welcome back. Rockets kick butt now. We love that. We love when they go out there and take care of their business because they absolutely needed to do just that tonight, and that's exactly what they did against this Memphis team, a team that is, I don't know if any Memphis team is going to be good or not this season, but the Rockets had to go out there and they had to bounce back from that loss to Charlotte the other night. And so many good things happened throughout it that we are going to get to. As I mentioned, getting it out of the way is the most important thing. You can't sit there and go the entire season, or you're not going to go the entire season. They're not going 0-82, but you can't keep going back to back after back, night after night, where you pound your head into the wall and say, "Please figure this out." No, that's not what happened for the Rockets on this one. They did go out there and they did take care of their business, and they did what they did. They did to Memphis what Charlotte did to them, which was extremely important. You didn't play the world's greatest first half of basketball. The Rockets were losing at halftime. They didn't shoot the ball unbelievably well in the first half. I was just looking at the numbers here a minute ago. In the first half tonight, Memphis outscores the Rockets 65-59. The Rockets shot 38%, 39% basically from the field, 37.5% from three. And really, Memphis got whatever they wanted. I mean, they shot over 50% from the field, 57 from three in that half, and kind of took advantage of the Rockets. And then it's like the second half was completely different. And really, it was the third quarter. The third quarter told the story of this basketball game night, 39-18. The Rockets outscored Memphis there. Shoot 52% from the field, 50% from three. I was mentioning this when my microphone again went out on its own and does its own thing. You had a quarter there where you actually left some points on the board. They slacked. They had 39 points in that third quarter. They could have had a big old fat 44. They missed 5 free throws in that quarter. And it was guys all over the place. I mean, you just go look at it. Dylan Brooks had a great quarter. Jabari had a great quarter. Alperen Sengun put up a nice quarter. Had 10 rebounds in that third quarter. Incredible. That's 2 games in a row that he's had double-digit rebounds in a single quarter. It's insane. And then Amen Thompson was really good in that quarter. So was Tari Eason. And Tari Eason really nice to see tonight. And overall, there's not a lot. Yeah, they rebounded from it. And I think that was one of those. Ime Udoka goes in the locker room and the speech was given. You've heard a lot about those over the last couple of years now that he's been here, or since last year. This is year 2. This is making it a couple of years. But he's not a guy that's afraid to dress his guys down. And I love that. I think in today's NBA, it is something that is probably not done enough. And it's a young team, and they still need to hear it. And clearly, if he had that message tonight, it got through, right? It absolutely got through to that team as they completely just turned the game around. And then what they could have done is just, kind of curl up into a ball and lived with it and moved on from it and said, as they're not playing the world's greatest first half, come back out, same kind of energy. But the energy just felt great for the Rockets tonight. It felt absolutely great all night long. And here they are. They got the win, number 1 of the season, and it feels good. We got a lot more to get into here on the Locked On Rockets Postcast. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We're with you after, I mentioned this earlier, Rockets games, Texans games, Astros games, Cougs games as well. Busy night tomorrow night on this channel. I'll tell you more about that here in a couple of minutes after this quick message on the Locked On Rockets Postcast. Let me tell you right now about PrizePicks. It's as good as it gets. Have you not played PrizePicks yet? I don't know what you're waiting for. I tell you about it all the time. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded prizes. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. You run your game all season long with PrizePicks. You can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. Yeah, it's fantastic. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. Join over those 10 million members, like I mentioned, and sign up today. PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Go ahead and download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's code LOCKEDONNBA when you download the PrizePicks app today. Locked On Rockets Postcast after a win! Yay! You don't have to talk about a loss tonight. Who wanted to talk about a loss tonight? Not me. And it felt like this was going to be one of those things where we came in and did this show and we had to talk about a loss. But we didn't have to. They found their way. They figured it out. And here they are. 1-1 on the season. Leading the way tonight for this Rockets team. I put it on the graphics. They're doing the small things. Really, I thought that's what the second half ended up being. And the small things tonight, a lot of it was led by Jabari Smith. Now, didn't have an unbelievable shooting night and shot under 40% from the field, but had 18 points, 16 rebounds. Between Jabari and Alpi, 31 rebounds tonight for those two. The Rockets grabbed 75 boards to the 58 for Memphis. That's pretty good when you win the rebounding battle by a clip like that. I mean, that's absolute domination. Or did I read that wrong? I'm sorry. I'm looking at I said 58. Yeah, this shows 75. I'm looking at 2 box scores here. One shows 75. The other one shows 64 for the Rockets rebounds. I don't know which one is right. One of them, I'm going to go with this one. I'll go with the 64 because that's the official NBA game book. But NBA.com says 75 on this regular box score here. Somebody needs to not lose their job. I don't want anybody to lose their job, but somebody's got to get in trouble for that, right? How do you have two completely, and they're not even close. It's not even like, 174, 176. No. They've got 75 now for the rebounds on NBA.com's box score, and then 64 on the official book, which is. And I'm sorry if you can hear my dogs again. The microphone, my new beautiful camera, which I feel like the audio is, or the video is way better. It keeps knocking my microphone off, and it keeps doing it, and so I have to take the headset off now, and we're talking. I'm going to get it figured out tomorrow. I've already figured it out once. I had this issue the other day, and I got it figured out. And, I had this problem happen just out of nowhere. I hope you guys didn't hear me just scream at the dogs. They're barking. But they did all the little things. They did all of the little things across the board. And to do all the little things, now look, it's easy for me to say as I'm sitting here in a chair, having watched the game on one of my 4 monitors that's in front of me as I sat here and prepared for the show. It's easy for me to say all these little things, like, oh, it's so easy to do this, so easy. Yeah, sure, it is. And it's easy to say, hey, these guys make millions of dollars. They should be going out there and doing that every single night. And they should. In all reality, they should. But they are, like everybody else, they're human. You're going to have nights where you don't go out there and have your best. You're going to have nights where, you don't feel it. Like, you might have had a day this week when you went to work and you woke up in the morning and you just felt awful. You're tired, you're sluggish, whatever. You just can't get the mental capacity where it needs to be to go and be your best at whatever your line of work is. Like happened to me one day this week and what I'm doing now. And, wasn't my best day. It happens, right? And that could happen to these guys too. But it also comes down to the effort. Like, you can overcome a lot of that by having simple effort and keeping it at a high level. And whether that's going out there and just, their second half, the energy alone was phenomenal. They did a better job of getting out and running, which I know that we all, we've heard so much about. I still don't think that when you watch them play, this is a team that's going to run consistently and get out and push it and be one of the faster teams in the league. Their personnel, I don't think, dictates that so much when you have like Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks out there on the floor and Alpi Şengün out there. Like, if they have a lineup out there of, Jalen and Amin Thompson and Jabari and Cam Whitmore and Tari Eason, those guys can get out there and they can run a gun. They can absolutely run a gun. But I don't think that they're going to be the world's best running team. But I thought you saw a little bit of that tonight in the second half. Like, they got out and they moved better. Which might not sound like a lot, but for a team they were a slow basketball team last year. They played in the half court. They were super slow. It bogged down the offense quite a bit. They have to be quicker this year. They have to do all those things. And I just felt like the flow overall tonight of everything just moved a lot better. And it really ramped up in that second half. You go across the board for the guys that stood out, whether it's Dylan Brooks, whether it's Jabari Smith. As I mentioned, Alpi was phenomenal tonight as well. And you know what? As I'm looking at this, I'm sitting here looking at this is me getting distracted for a second. Me doing my complaining about all the box score issues. I think they got everything wrong in both of these. I think they got point totals wrong in both of them too for players. Whatever. But just so many guys across the board tonight that did all the little things. I thought, there were a couple of possessions where even, one of the things like Jalen Green, for example, is a guy that insanely athletic. We know that. Insanely athletic. Can get to the rim at will if he wants. Can blow by anybody. Can run that floor better than anybody else. But one of the things that's lacked, I think, throughout his early portions of his career, of course, has been the defensive effort. Whatever he's doing on defense. And, tonight there was a couple of moments where he went out and he made some plays. And, I thought he did a really good job. He didn't get blown by a lot. He did a good job of keeping his feet planted and adjusting to the offensive player in front of him and staying on guys' hips to the rim or, contesting shots. Like, the small things there. We saw a glimpse of that the other night for Alpi in the first game of the season. We saw some of that again tonight. And then, you have your normal characters that play unbelievable defense as normal. Jabari is always a fantastic defender. It's great to have Tari Eason out there. He's a guy that does it all as well. And that brings the energy of the team up. That brings, so much of this up into the right direction, which is important. Like, I'm going to make the comparison to baseball season that we just went through here in Houston, the Astros season. It started off so poorly. And to me in sports, it's the snowball effect. When you do it and you do it a lot early, it can snowball and then you dig yourself into a hole. And you don't want to see that with this basketball team because I know we talked about a loss the other night and how frustrating it was, and it was one of those games that makes you think, is this franchise really going to take the leap forward that they want to jump forward? But if you can mitigate these things, the bad things early, which they did tonight, and snowball it in the other direction, then maybe you will go and be better than you were expecting to be and be a contender to be a playoff team. So, it's 2 games. You don't overreact to 2 games. But I thought it was very encouraging to go from that the other night, which sucked. I mean, there's no reason to hide it. The truth is the truth. The opener sucked. This felt more like the Rockets basketball that we are expecting to see this season. Hopefully it continues. They got a couple of games now in a row against a team that they should be able to continue it against. I don't know. We'll talk about it here for a brief second. We'll get you ready for the first of 2 straight against the Spurs next. You're on the Locked On Rockets Postcast. When you're looking for lines on your games, great place to go and get them is FanDuel.com. Yes, FanDuel.com. You can go ahead and take a guess on who covered tonight in this basketball game. That would be the home team by a lot. You probably did well on that tonight. Hey, football fans, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Go to FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com. Locked On Rockets Postcast for a few more minutes. Thank you for joining me tonight. Michael Connor, I'm your host. I'm here all the time talking Rockets after the games. Don't forget, if you're looking for daily Rockets content, to go check out the Locked On Rockets Daily Podcast. That is Jackson Gatlin does a wonderful job covering your Rockets every day of the week. He's there at the games. He's at practices. He does it all. So go check out the work of Jackson Gatlin on the Locked On Rockets podcast. And, of course, you're looking for the audio version of this show, you can just search for Locked On Rockets anywhere that you get your podcast, and then you will hit the subscribe button. Or I should say this, that's for YouTube. You'll get those anywhere that you get your podcast, and they're absolutely free. Then you should come to this channel and hit the subscribe button. Please hit the subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. This channel's grown so much this year. It's been so much fun doing it. Even when I get technical issues, it make me mad. Seriously, I was so excited because, as I look at the comments sometimes, I know that my camera in the baseball season wasn't, it's not bad by any means, but we got this new, nice, expensive HD camera that's, I will say the lighting, it's weird with the lighting a little bit. I got to figure out the lighting in here now. But buy this new camera, and it for some reason just automatically kicks my microphone off, and then I can't even change it. I can't even change the settings. It's so stupid. So that's my task for the morning tomorrow, because this channel will be busy tomorrow. We will have Cougars football plays at 6. Oh, look, I know that the Cougars aren't very good. I understand that. But be a friend. Just come hang out with me for 25 to 30 minutes talking Cougars football tomorrow evening. They're playing Utah. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't have a clue. We'll see. We'll be live for that, and then we'll be live for Rockets and Spurs. And don't forget, Sunday after Texans and Colts, I and Wade Smith and I should say, I can't speak properly. Wade Smith and I, former Texans lineman, will be live as soon as the game ends to talk about what is hopefully a win over the Colts, a season series win over those Colts if they can pull that off this weekend. So, again, busy channel here all weekend long. Hit that subscribe button, come back. But Spurs the next couple of nights, a Spurs team that, like the Rockets, young, but also a Spurs team that, infuse themselves with a little bit of veteran presence in the offseason. They've got an expectation to be better, of course. We all know who's the number one, guy to watch there is Wembanyama, who's a freak. They're going to be more competitive this season, will San Antonio. Does that mean that they're going to be good? I don't know. But, you got an end of his career, Chris Paul. They've added Harrison Barnes to the mix, who can still really shoot it from the outside. I think he's a good addition for them. I'm curious to see what they look like. The Rockets are getting them out of the way early. 3 times the next week. 2 straight in San Antonio. They play Saturday and Monday. I said this the other day. I don't understand schedule making. I don't understand why they set it up like that this early in the season to be done with them. But it is what it is. You can't change that now. Or you can't change it, period. But, the NBA is doing what it does. These are games early in the season, like that Charlotte game was, though, that when you look at the Spurs, and I know it's on the road, you got to take at least one of those 2. And the Spurs are a team that you feel like when you play them, you should win. And if this is going to be a playoff team in the Western Conference, which that is their expectation, they got to get after it. Because the schedule tightens up a little bit after these Spurs games. You got at Dallas, home for Golden State, home for the Knicks. Then you get another one with San Antonio. But then it's OKC, Detroit and Washington, Clippers a couple times. It's the NBA. We know how this thing works, but it tightens up a little bit compared to how it started on opponents. So you got to go get it. We'll talk about it tomorrow night. Hopefully, what is I'll take another easy win. Doesn't bother me one bit. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Friday night. We'll talk tomorrow night. First off, after Cougs, and then second after the Rockets right here on the Locked On Sports Houston page.